Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Cory and Rhonda with Utah Dream Properties and Keller Williams. Today we're going to talk to you about, have we seen a shift in the market?
Yep, so we have seen a shift in the market. It's actually been over the last year, maybe 2 years even.
Sure.
So you'll see a lot of headlines, and that's what we try to break down here is sometimes you'll see things on the headline and it's like a blanket statement for the whole United States. And we want to talk to you about Utah specific things. You know, as of right now, it's more of a balanced market than we've seen. We refer to the COVID market a lot because things were so crazy that you didn't even really need to do anything to your house. Sometimes people didn't even put a sign out and it would sell. Now it definitely takes some more preparation than we've seen in the past. So like I said, it's more of a balanced market. If you are a buyer, you definitely have more to look at than you have in the past. And if you're a seller, it's going to seem slower than you want. It's my opinion anyway, right? When we have showings and sometimes you wonder like, okay, the house is listed. I haven't received any showing requests right now. What's going on? So,
and we'll talk about that when we come over to help you with the listing. But for today, we picked out 3 things that we're, looking at in this current market that we wanted to talk about a little bit. Number 1 was balancing out the market, meaning, like Ron said earlier, the market is kind of settled, if you will. What we're talking about there is rates have kind of held and they've gone up and down.
Yeah, they've gone up and down. Yeah.
A little while, but they're still somewhere fairly hovering in that 6-ish range, right?
Low 7s on some loan products right now.
Yeah, and we'll, of course, we let the lenders figure all that out on a day-to-day basis because that stuff goes up and down. But that's been kind of sitting there. So rates have definitely been something that everybody's been talking about. And one thing that we talk about here a lot in Utah is supply and demand. I mean, it's the basics of economics, right? And here in Utah, we're about 30-some thousand doors short of homes for people. So obviously, when you have that shortage, it's going to help maintain value also, right? So we kind of settled into this thing where rates are kind of hovering around that 6-ish%, and we've just had supply and demand holding and holding and holding, and we just can't build enough. So there's just not enough new homes coming on the market, and therefore buyers and sellers have seen the market kind of settle into place. The second one, Rhonda can talk better about this than I can. She's more eloquent when it comes to that, but condition of the home.
So condition of the home has always mattered, but it's mattered less in markets like COVID, where we would literally have buyers walk into a house and sometimes we would want to talk them out of the house because we could see things. We're not inspectors by any means, but we would see things that were red flags to us because sellers just did not put any type of effort in before listing their home because they knew there would be 20 buyers for it, so they didn't have to. We caution all of our sellers before, when we speak to them, we say, do the little things, walk through your house, stand at your front door, even do a 360, look around, because when a buyer comes into your home, it's just psychology. They're looking for something wrong. Instead of looking for something right in this market, they have more to choose from. So it's easier to eliminate a home than it is to try to talk yourself into one. So do the little things, make sure that everything is in top condition for a buyer, and put your buyer hat on and think of things that might scare a buyer and fix those things. So your curb appeal, I can't say enough about that, because as soon as they drive up to the house, as soon as your buyer drives up to the house, they're looking around. So just make sure that you pay attention to detail, you make the repairs that you need to make. And if you're thinking, well, I'll just see if a buyer mentions that and I'll just fix it later, you might not get the offer.
Call us. I mean, that's the whole point of this, right? We'll come over and walk through all this for you and give you some of our thoughts on what we would want you to do.
Right.
And what will gain you the most money versus what won't.
Right.
Repairs versus no repairs.
Definitely. And that's one thing I talked a lot about, making sure everything's ready. But again, like Cory said, have us walk through, because sometimes you will think that you need to do something. You don't need to do that thing. You need to do another thing that maybe you haven't thought of. So, right. I could do a whole video on that section. Make sure that your house is ready. So
our third one, will the market be picking up soon? It's kind of a loaded question.
If we knew that.
Yeah.
If we
had a crystal ball, then we would probably not be talking. No, I'm just kidding. This would be very easy if we knew that for sure. Well, let's look at a few things that are going on. Like we already talked about, we've got supply and demand, we've got the interest rates. Well, less showings currently can be a little bit deceiving to people, meaning they think the market is just going down the drain. We obviously know that's not the case. It's kind of leveled off. Another indicator that we always look at, especially for rates, is the job market reports. I don't know if a lot of people really follow that when it comes to the economy, but the Fed comes out and says, hey, the jobs are up or the jobs are down, basically, very simply. And the last one wasn't a good report. So they're suspecting that the Fed might bring those rates down just a little bit.
But here's the part that a lot of people are waiting for, or right before the election when we're recording this. So we don't know what's going to happen. And a lot of people are saying, well, I'm going to wait till the election until I make a decision. I don't know specifically what they're waiting for, what exactly is going to change on that day. But there are a lot of people sitting back saying that they are going to wait. So what we tell people is, and we live by this ourselves, rates are not where we wish they were as a buyer. When I look at payments at certain price points at certain rates, I go back and think, gosh, if this was COVID and my rate was 2.5, my payment would only be whatever. This is where we're at right now. So this is what we have to look at. Will rates come down eventually? Yes. I strongly feel that we're not going to be hovering in the high 6s, low 7s forever. When they do come down at that point, that's when I'm going to look at refinancing. So if I can get in a property now where I don't have to compete as much as I would in a different market, I can negotiate more closing costs, I can negotiate more favorable rates, and I can still afford that payment, then I'm going to purchase that house with the thought of at some point in time I'm going to refinance. So we're not these agents that are going to tell you just get in and refinance in 3 months. It might be longer than that. I don't know how long it's going to be, but I know at some point in time we're going to look at refinancing our properties, our investment properties, and we're going to tell our buyers to do the same thing. So if you can get in,
and we are buying.
Right.
We're looking always.
Right.
Like right now, I would buy one if it was the right number.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. If you wait, and interest rates, a lot of people are predicting there's so many millions of buyers for each percentage point that the rates are going to go down. I don't want to be competing with those buyers. So we would encourage you to do the same.